Yeah, well, first off, Tyrod, I'm really hope that's a great situation for him. I will root for Tyrod the rest of his career, other than when he's playing the Bills. I think he's in a good spot. In my conversations with John Dorsey, they were super excited for what he was going to bring, and I thought it was important to for us to be fair to him and put him in a spot that they were going to surround him with talent. So I just want to say publicly, thanks to Tyrod for his efforts here, and we wish him the best. Second question, Vic, was, A.J. McCarron. We did our homework on all these guys that were out there as free agents, and we looked in a lot of different areas, but we thought we took it slow. I know everybody was jumping on guys quick. I went with the more methodical, let's make the right decision, let's not get into chase mode. And I actually spoke to Hugh Jackson the night before we signed him, texted with two other coaches of his that I know, and the one word that they told me about AJ that got me fired up was competitor. And I love that. This guy has an edge to him. He's been backing up Andy Dalton, who's their franchise guy. He filled in, I believe, 4 games, should have won a playoff game. Had an unfortunate fumble, but they were down 15-0, I believe, in the fourth, and he brought him back, made a big throw to A.J. Green. We watched every throw of his and what he did, and thought he did some real good things, thought he's got upside, and that's what he'll do. He'll come in here. We got him and Nathan right now on the roster, and those two guys will compete, and, we'll see what else happens between now and that first game. No, because we put values on every player, and I reminded my guys that the night before this started over a text, I was basically reminding them to jump me if I start chasing someone. You be my checks and balances, and we've put values, ranges. Hey, this is probably where the floor he's going to be. This is the max we're willing to pay on this guy. And so, again, we talked, we looked, we researched the market. Sometimes you're calling on a guy that you think is going to be a similar value. You don't really want him for whatever reason, culture, what you're looking for your offense. But you call just to gauge the market, just to see where you're going to have to be on the guy you're targeting. So we did a lot of that. Again, we took the slow, methodical approach, and we had our reasons for that. And I'm thrilled with getting AJ here and excited for his opportunity to show what he can do. Well, again, it's the same as I've said all along. We've done our recon on all positions. We're still doing it. I've had to kind of, after Indy, refocus on free agency, so I kind of put a little, stiff arm to the draft for a little bit. Now that we've spent our money, it's about 100% back on the draft for the most part. And again, I think I told you guys in Indy, I've met them all. I have done that, but some of them for 15 minutes. So that's obviously not enough for me to, even draft a guy at 12, or I know everyone, assumes that we're going higher than 12. I don't know what we're doing. I honestly don't. We'll see. We got like 6 weeks, I think, from yesterday when the draft. Over that time, I'm going to really get to know every player, not only the quarterbacks, of who we're going to consider. Yeah, I know I heard that word yesterday. Everybody was talking about the bridge. I don't look at AJ as a bridge. The bridge isn't in my vocabulary. This is a chance for AJ to come in and compete, and that's to showcase what he's got and compete. But nothing's being given here for any position that we have, and that's the way Sean and I believe it should be. But AJ's not playing behind an established person. He was playing behind an established Andy Dalton there. So this is a different scenario for him. He felt like this was a good opportunity for him to come in and win a job. We felt like it was a good opportunity for him to come and showcase his talents. So that's where the marriage, so to speak, came. Well, I never have enough assets. But, listen, it was a win-win. Dion played well for us last year. Cordy had an unfortunate year, and that was Sean and I's limited exposure to him. I'd seen him on tape, obviously, and he's a good player. Cincinnati let Whitworth go to, I mean, they didn't mean to, but he got paid in L.A., and I think they felt that they needed to shore up their left tackle spot, and so we started conversations, and, it worked out. We figured out the value. I set the value of, it's going to take this to get him, and we worked it out, and they accepted. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know everybody assumes we're going higher. I don't know that, but there are some players that are going to be at 12, whether it's quarterback or another position, that I know would not have fallen to 21. I'm excited about that. There's some guys that we were talking about right before we went to Combine with our scouts, and I'm like, we're wasting our time with this guy. He ain't falling to 21. And, we're going, this guy's a top 10, 12, 30. He ain't getting past 15. We're in the range for those guys, and that's not necessarily quarterback. So at the end of the day, we're going to get a better player. That's why that's a second round value that you move from 21 to 12, and there's a reason for that. You're getting a player that should be, a little bit of more value. I think you saw how we did it in Carolina. We believe that's the way it worked. I want to be strong up front, and Sean does as well. And our staffs all understand what we're looking for. We're looking to protect on the offensive line and wreak havoc on the defensive line, and that was the moves with Starr in adding Trent Murphy. Yeah, I'm not going to get into too deep of what's offered and what's not, but we're still talking, with a lot of guys, including them. We would love to have them back, but other than that, I'd have to, until something's done. That's really, where it's at.
Just to clarify, sorry, what you said earlier. You said we spent our money 100% back in the draft. Is that just the quarterback or about the entire roster right now?
No, I mean we're very low on money. We can do some lower level things, but nothing that's going to hit the ticker.
Can you pinpoint close to where you're at? I mean, it's confusing to look at these websites. Roughly, what are you at as far as your salary cap space?
Well, we got to save money for the draft picks, and I like to be conservative with the injury replacement cost. When you get guys injured and starting in camp and through the year, you got to have money to replace those guys. So I like to hold a little nest egg back there. But we've got in my mind of free agency money, we got a little bit left, but it's not much. No, I would love to have 8 guys that were all Pro Bowlers on that front. I know that's not really possible, but I believe in waves of those D-line, and Sean does as well, and that's the concept of these signings. I never say I'm comfortable. So again, I could walk out with the Pro Bowl roster and say I'm not comfortable. I'm always looking for ways for us to get better. 12 months. All 12 months we're looking. So, we'll continue to look at a lot of areas, including wide receiver, of where, again, remember, we're always looking for what makes sense for fit and value, and we didn't find that. But again, we still have the draft, and there's other. If you remember, that position specifically, a couple guys came open in May, last year. You never know. We'll still look to build a lot of spots. That's a complex question. I mean, listen, I'm looking for good football players, and if we find, a quarterback that's a guy that we think is undeniably, a franchise quarterback, and he falls in our lap, yes, we'd take him. But if we're sitting there at 12 and there's a guy that falls to us that we're like, wow, we thought this guy was going top 5 and he's a game changer, we'd be happy to take him too. Well, you missed my last. You ain't going to hear me say I'm comfortable. So I'm always looking, John. That's really as deep as I could go. I mean, I'm any area at any time. You call me in July, I may be on vacation, but I ain't comfortable. We're glad, that Richie, he's still going to be here and come off a Pro Bowl year, and he'll bring some leadership for us. With Wood's, departure. Wood, we're still leaving him in that category, still on the roster. It's on my back burner right now. Still, that's pretty much where it's at, Mike.
Okay, I'm sorry. Quick follow-up. Could that last till June? Could that carry till?
It could. I don't have a timetable on it yet. I'm focused on the draft.